刻意，
然后你可能播个1小时、2小时之后，可能会延迟到20秒，甚至更久。
我觉得他那个应该是为了他的那个存档。
对啊，因为他随时都在帮你存档。
是哦。
对啊。
你及时的话，对他是不会造成影响，因为他就是用延迟。
可是我因为那个脸书延迟最严重。
脸书的速度，因为你就可以看出谁家的速度比较好。
我一直觉得他们。
A lot of this isn't going to make sense to you, and I'm sorry about that.
不算吗？
I'm just going to start at the beginning, with the house.
你这个是第一人称。
电影你需要看是第三人称。
对，第三人称有一种。
上帝视角。
就那这要算是哪？
I lived here until I was 11, but I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms.
故事说故事游戏吗？
Inside the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked urgent, open immediately.
像奇异人生那个游戏吗？
I hadn't been back since my brother Lewis's funeral.
可是能做就只有在当下做决定。
可是这间豪宅真的是我看过，我非常想
My mother left me a key, but didn't tell me what it unlocked.
啊
Maybe she thought I'd know, or she
那只
thought
是
the
死过的
mystery
人
unlocked
是
anything.
它的格局什么都好漂亮。对啊。
I wouldn't have driven this way in a long time, but I saw a few hoofprints.
因为其实这间房子有死的大多都是那种，就是我觉得也都是死于那个精神病。
The truth is,
幻听幻觉。
even after I inherited the house, I never thought I'd come back to it. But now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to.
我要拿这个成就，最重要在头上。
你感觉有点像土块感。
是啊，这样把它洗掉。现在知道让它里面好好的。
The woods around the house have always been uncomfortably silent.
正在绑架更多白雪球跟红血球。
真的非有这个不恐怖。
一样嘞。
你身体现在上演了一场绑架。
The house was exactly like I remembered it, the way I'd been dreaming about it.
可是可以盖成这个样子，我也是觉得。 上面是怎么没有塌下来？
哦，他
现在有支架。
他物理学还很 OK 的呢。
他有支架，支架就还好啊。
他物理学还蛮 OK 的。
As a child, the house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words. Now, as a 17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the house.
我觉得有一个1岁半就死掉的小孩最可怜。
Crawling through the doggy door used to be a lot easier when I was 11.
而且我觉得这家人都多才多艺啊。
The power had been turned off the night we left. For the first time in years, I
而
felt
且我
like
觉
I
得他
was
的字都
home.
在中间，看得很舒服。
But instead of a family, there were just memories of one. Like how after Lewis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of eating salmon. Except our cat, Molly.
茉莉是猫吗？他刚刚不是说是猫吗？ 但是我在玩的时候，我发现其他也是人呢，一个小女孩。
Nothing in the house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it,
这栋
like
房
a
子
smile with too many
没什么异
teeth.
常的，它看起来就是诡异而已。
Edie told me once that every Finch who ever lived is buried somewhere in the library.
埋在书房。
其实我觉得写报告一直是写还好，因为你是照自己方向写，然后后来被打枪太多次之后，你就迷失方向了。真的。
应该要留下来。
我记得有一个成就，是
我有留，只是
那个出版是你要找回，去翻你的出版，找回你的书走。
这个成就我要
The
拿到
table。was still a wreck from the night we left.
你像是看了一本书，然后老师要求你写10篇同样新的那个不同的心得报告，超痛苦的。然后每篇还限定要500字。
It was like my mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great Grandma Edie living in a nursing
一
home.
本书都给你翻烂，然后写了十几篇心得报告，你还写不出一个完本，然后老师还觉得不行，然后就超级累。
看出去就好舒服了，这间房子。
Even the fireplace had a story.
原来是美好滤镜。
Edie told me the bricks came from the original house after it sank.
看不到里面，反正全家都搬走了，死的死嘛。
Mom always told me to stay out of the basement, so I wasn't too surprised when the key didn't fit.
这是爷爷做的。
Great Grandpa Sven built a music box for Barbara, along with the rest of the house.
曾祖父是爷爷的爸爸吗？阿祖。这间我刚刚是看过。
After Milton
要从外面
disappeared,
看完所有的。
Mom sealed up all the bedrooms. Then Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes.
我一直觉得这个窥视孔很莫名其妙，因为它是装在那个，它是由外往内看。
对啊，所以他说他把门都锁起来了，所以他装了窥视孔。
My Grandpa Sam spent 7 years sharing a room with his dead brother,
这是双
Calvin.
胞胎兄弟的房间，直接一人分一半。
As a kid, I just assumed every house had peepholes and sealed rooms you weren't allowed inside of.
满满粉红色的浴室耶，这个我不行。这个都是出生年到死嘛？
对。
The last time I was in Edith Sr.'s room, I was 10 and she was painting my portrait.
还有房间吗？
当初我都没有房间。
Molly always seemed like a girl I could imagine being friends with, if she hadn't died in
如果他没在
1947.
1947年死掉的话，第一个剧情就是他。应该所有房间我都看完了吧？就剩这间而已。吧。
到另外一边。
然后这3个房间我刚看
这边，然后右转。
这个。
Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara.
这个死的很可怜，他是同性。
Barbara was a child star for 2 years, until America grew out of it. Mom must have locked the doors upstairs on the night we left.
你现在不是用摇杆震动屁哦，干。
在特效。
吓死啊！现在有楼梯可以上。
没了、哦。所以有一个成就是看完每个房间的孔诶，可是这房间没孔。
I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room.
我觉得这房
I
间
think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up.
当初去门2楼大概就是这种 feel 吧。洛阳街的时候。
窗户可以看，这个。这就是我喜欢他们家的一个地方啊。
哎。
他北上镇，你不是更害怕？
哇，因为这不是恐怖游戏，这从头到尾都没吓人的地方。
Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of. Reading this, maybe it sounds like I had a plan, but I had no idea what was behind that door.
它可以经由每个密道进去每一个房间。
Just like I had no idea where all this was gonna lead. I grew up looking at Molly's room through the peephole.
这是我们刚看那个小女孩房间。
Molly's gerbil had a tiny bedroom with its own even tinier gerbil cage.
沙鼠是什么？像天竺鼠那种，有自己的房间那好酷。沙鼠不见了。
Being inside for the first time, I felt like I'd stepped behind a painting.
这是魔力的房间。只能出发剧情。他们家庭每个人死了之后，他奶奶都会织一条这个布，然后
I got the sense Edie had spent a lot of time here before my mom sealed the doors.
这算个人小礼堂吧。
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat. The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it. Mom, can I come out now?
Sweetheart, it's late. Go to sleep.
I thought about eating Christopher, but I held back.
伊迪芬奇的回忆豪宅。你知道这小女孩怎么死吗？因为她乱吃东西，你自己看。这个她都拿下来
I
吃。
ate a lot of things that night.
我觉得她是吃了这些东西死掉的啦，因为她什么都吃。她
I
连
kept eating and eating.
桌上的，她连牙膏都拿起来吃。
Then I heard chirping outside my window.
然后这边就变得很强。
It was a barn swallow going back to her nest. I reached out for her. And suddenly, I was a cat.
而且都不用怕掉下去，
I tried to be quiet, but
只要
the
照
bird
它
was
剧情跑
really
就好了。
scared.
是我找不到那只鸟狗。
Mom and Dad didn't even look at me. I jumped and I almost got her. I could tell she was getting really tired. Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird. I gobbled her up. And suddenly, I was an owl. First, all I heard was the wind. Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass. Rabbits. I imagined his face looking up and seeing mine through my talons. I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit. Then I flew off to find something bigger.
整个游戏最血腥的就是这一段，就是老鹰吃掉兔子，就这样。
A mama rabbit. She was almost too big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating. And suddenly, I was a shark.
为什么会在这个地方有沙？你卡住，卡关。那为什么会有这地方会有沙？
I rolled off a cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever. I wanted fat, juicy steaks.
哦，刚不是前面有一只，不见了。困难。哎，不见了。
opened my eyes, everything had changed. Now I was a monster, and I smelled people everywhere. wine.
到底是吃什么？然后转过去我吃到什么？
I wanted to stop, but also I didn't.
Belly with a rusty razor, belly with a rusty razor, belly with a rusty razor.
Yeah. 有一个主角是要听他唱，这个我还没看。
What shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor?
我以为是就这样打一套了。哎。
What shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor?
他是唱完了没啦
？Put him on the scuppers with a hose by bottom. Put him on the scuppers with a hose by bottom. Put him on the scuppers with a hose by bottom. Girl, I hate them cold. What shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor? Heave-ho, she rises, heave-ho, she rises, heave-ho, she rises.
Slithered onto the sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe. I got closer and closer. All my stomach started growling. And suddenly, I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to be, and we both know I will be delicious.
说这小女孩到底怎么死的？
被吃掉了。
可是那不是她的幻想吗？
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have.
我自己是觉得那小女孩就是前面乱吃东西吃出来，说怪物是这只的，是吗？
I can't describe it, but I felt like some part of Molly was still here.
有鲨鱼，然后有猫，猫头鹰，可是我没有看到猫。
海上路的时候变成猫了。
对。
听到了。
好像。就是他。
This would be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories. Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past. Though, when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly. I spent a lot of time in Great-Grandma Edie's room. Her room was like a museum. For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune and misfortune. Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg and their newborn son, Johan. On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind. But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea. Odin's daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore in their new home. Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery. His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house. Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways.
这个死的剧情那么短。这条没吃完。
Great-grandma had always been the family's biggest fan. Edie knit me a new pair of gloves every year, just in time to replace the old ones. Louis died a week before we left, but Edie had already started to memorialize him. Even in her 90s, sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother.
这个是唯一自然死的吧，90几岁。
The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife Kay left on the house was the pink bathroom.
他记录家族每个人。
It was a pretty big trace.
你看，又有新的密道。
There's a secret in this bathroom.
不是密道。
It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book. Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
是类似重洗照片的那种地方。
From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me. I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin, and that he never talked about him. I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it.
因为这个死的我印象超深刻。
My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom, and he did. At Barbara's funeral, he swore he'd never be afraid again, and he wasn't. I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
Sam! Calvin! Dinner's ready! Coming!
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it. I told him going around was impossible. Maybe if I hadn't said that.
Calvin, I'm not gonna tell you again!
Maybe if the wind hadn't picked up, then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it. I think he'd already made up his mind. That's what I want to remember about my brother. The day he made up his mind to fly, and he did.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing. After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room. Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
God, 密道在这呢。
The passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies. Edie's father, Odin, built the original house. Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star. I never thought about how hard it must have been for her afterwards. Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Oh, Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch. As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed up. A has-been.
为什么可以因为尖叫而闻名？
She been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan, and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
20 minutes later, Rick hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue. She reached for the music box. And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent.
对啊，所以说我也觉得很好奇这件事情。
She found Rick's crutch and imagined the worst.
Infamous Hookman killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
The old fridge rattled and grew still.
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and you're...
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show. Hours later...
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Ah! Okay, I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
man is 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
Barbara turned, saw the hook man, and was speechless. He was quite smashing. He couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Okay, Barbara, there's gotta be another way out of here.
That night, she played her part beautifully. She thought about abandoning Walter, but just couldn't do it. Molly's door hadn't been opened in years. The hinges groaned. He wasn't moving, but she sensed the story might not be over yet. Had vanished. She listened for his breathing, but all she heard was... At the door, she heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house. The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true. Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter, hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard, but that's another story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box is all they ever found of her. Her ear. Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
其实我还是不知道他怎么死的，真实的死亡方式。
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
那算是一个圆满的结局。啊？
I guess now I know why Mom doesn't like me playing with the music box.
所以说下一个门的入口。 就是那把钥匙了。音乐盒，音乐盒，这是什么？
A lot of things got left behind in the whirlwind of that last night. My mom wasn't much of an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive.
就说这不是恐怖故事了，不算吧？我记得我忘了接下来是谁，不是。
Mom said the basement was off limits, unless I wanted another tetanus shot.
我觉得这个木头工作室很棒，很优。
I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages.
Edie 是他外婆吗？我记得是外婆。
I thought maybe she was hiding presents.
就是活到最后的那个老人家。
It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that. I remember asking Mom once about where Walter had gone. She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could. If there's a pattern in all these stories, I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down.
他是接近最后死，但是他不是最后死的。
On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive the week. But after a few days, I settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane. Having a schedule, living for today. I always expected to be dead tomorrow. But if you wait long enough, you get used to anything. Even a monster on the other side of the door starts to feel normal. Almost friendly. And then one day, everything just stopped. Whatever that thing was, it was gone. Maybe it got tired of waiting. Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid.
他就是自从目睹了那件事情之后，他就一直住在地下室，他不敢再出来。
It's been a week now, the longest in 30 years. I'm done waiting. I have to leave, while I still can.
因为他在这个礼拜没有再听到火车的声音，12点。
I know it's out there, somewhere. Whatever killed Barbara and Molly and Calvin. Maybe this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day, even if it kills me. Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it.
他从那边敲出来的。
I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food. I don't mind if I only have a year left, or a month, or a single week. I'd be happy with one new day. I can already imagine the sun on my face.
他最后
Walter
是在
died
火
when
车
I was
上。
6. I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here. I'm sure my mom was trying to protect me. Maybe she was afraid I'd end up like Walter. But if she never told me about an uncle under the house, I can only imagine what else she was hiding. I don't want to make the same mistakes she made, trying to bury something that's still alive. Now that there's only one of us left, or maybe two, I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself and found out what happened to everyone else. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse, we made it real. I don't know if I should even be writing this. Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me. But I thought you should know about your family. And the history you're a part of. Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now. I think the people in these stories believed them, for what that's worth. You look at the house, that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness. Any of it seems possible. I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it. What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house? It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but The pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one. 3 of the gerbils are mine, and 2 had been my fault. Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery.
This is a mouse. 然后这个是荡秋千死掉那个小男孩嘛？木狗爷爷的，奶奶喝醉酒，10，就是刚刚在那个被火车撞那个，这个是童心。
I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away. She could see it poking out of the water at low tide.
This is 他们当初沉掉的那间房子。
Edie said she dreamed about the old house every night.
Yeah, 这还有一个成就，我不知道成就在哪里。
如果你知道房间旁边在这个之后还有2间房子，楼层跟6层的房子，2层房子。
可是这个的成就，墓园这边成就是哪一个？感谢。
Edie's side was always easier for me to understand. But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from. Her dad had been pretty strict, but it wasn't enough to save her brothers. She was just trying to do better.
那个我拿到了。
She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us. We never found Mom's body, so my mom insisted we were putting up a monument, not a tombstone. There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself. But looking back on it now, if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
真的，这间房子对于孕妇来讲是件很残忍的房子。
I never met Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common. They were both pretty intense.
这间你帮我玩，这间我玩过，我想去抽一支烟。不要玩，又不恐怖。不要玩。那我抽完烟再玩。真的不恐怖啊。
这个 Barbara 是她男友为了要听她的尖叫声，带领其他人一起来家里面吓她，结果2个人都被杀了。
2个人都被杀了。
她跟她男朋友都被杀了。 有很多种死法，很多种讲法，
都没有一个肯定的说法，对不对？
Instead of hiding from death, Sam seemed to go out of his way to meet it.
这间房子怎么还没有被闯空门啊？天哪！
这间是 K 的，
不是 Sen 的吗
？K， 刚刚的不是上面写
K。Sen 啊。
Sam spent his life shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something.
这是真实照片。要，这不是橙色恐惧，那门不会自动关。
这是被录走的。
好，你先看个剧情啊。
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime.
Mm-hmm. Am I gonna have to shoot anything?
It's a hunting trip, Dawn. Shooting is strongly encouraged.
What?
Perfect.
It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it? I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's the spirit. Okay, got it.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. The camera's older than you are.
You're right, Dad. It's starting to clear up. Still freezing, though.
看他在那边争，原本不恐怖的也会被他吓到。看来看去好像可拍的东西也就只有。反正就一直拍啊，没啥。 片不会被我拍完。
Definitely should not have drunk all that coffee.
Hold still while I take a picture of you.
Hey!
That's a keeper.
I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Don. You'll need to remember this stuff if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Don, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being Dad.
Your eyes, Don. Before you take the shot, let me get a picture of you.
Dad, I...
Just breathe. Let me get behind you.
Do I have to do this?
Don, you don't have to do anything. But if you want to survive, you need to be strong. Great shot, Don! I'm proud of you, Don. Always remember that, okay?
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally normal, Don. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about...
Dad!
这个是因为这样子死的吗？有点冤，
Of all
也有
these
点可怜。
stories, that's the one I wish most.
这个就真的是意外啊，不像前面死的那么夸张。
等一下 ，Milton 跟 Wilton 不见了。
这个跟
Milton，那 Wilton 不见了。
这个吗？
不是，还有一个 Wilton。不是 Water， 是 Milton。Milton 跟 Wilton， 还有一个叫做 Wilton，W-I-L-T-O-N。我刚刚查的时候，他们族谱里面还有这一个人。
是哦。
应该是双胞胎吧，或者是兄弟。可能等下如果找到另外2个人，应该可以拿成就。
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
他家真的诸多密道。
也太可怕了吧！哦，是那个小男孩。
I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet.
要先看 guess 的。是这个有成就拿了吗？
这个还没有。这个死得很冤呢。
不知道。
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it.
右边墙壁的那条。
I think he saw things the rest of us don't.
用青蛙打他吧。
对啊。我把这边字全部掉。
对，把这边的名字全部删掉。
要不考虑写个遥感包？
Hand over, Gregory. It's time to. Hold on, sweetie. Hello? Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
I wonder what he saw.
有没有考虑这个遥感帮我装一下？我只觉得这个方式叫我不好。
Lost in his imagination.
不能中。 对，
这是一个成就。
很累啊。
重点是很难操控的。
有实现对不对？
没有。
没有吗？
那个剧情故事它不会给你再做限制。
就这样去了。
这是一个小婴儿的视角。
1岁。
这个死得很
冤。不要那么高好吗？剩下阿姨2个字给我装掉啦，干！难撞啊，
超难。
Whatever it was, he saw.
还有啊！
看阿年特别。
碰不到啊！
对呀。你刚怎么跳那么高的？我需要跳上去，我需要把那只金鱼撞下来。
Sure made him happy.
他自己掉下来的那样。
其实就是这小孩子一直拿着这青蛙在乱丢东西。
I know how silly it sounds. That I worried about a baby being too happy. But I could feel him slipping away.
Sorry about that, Gregory.
I know you did everything you could. Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
就会进入塞住，是不是？
Hold on, I don't want Gregory to hear this.
就是小孩子还在丢这个青蛙，然后丢到水，然后青蛙堵住了那个排水口，
太会了吧！
然后小孩就被这样子被淹了。
There's so much I don't understand about Gregory.
他变青蛙。
About everything.
我觉得这家很强。
But I know what happened wasn't your fault.
这真的不是谁的错。这种事真的是一个意外。
Sure as heck.
就是我觉得这个死的原因不能归咎在谁身上吧。
Good luck, Kay. Love, Sam.
那个 K 就是因为他死掉，所以离婚的结尾。刚看的故事，他是原本的老婆啊，然后之后才生了另外一个，就因为他受不了那个狗，我不会念
这个吗？
就刚刚那个死掉，对，所以后来再婚，然后这个第二个。
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea.
到再婚这段。
Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard. Before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard.
他为了还是要增加一些游戏性质，说还是做了很多互动型的小游戏，几乎每一个人都有一个稍微互动的小游戏。
这个有两个说法，
一个是台风然后被帐篷
My father
压
made
到，
them come, of course, but Gus stood far apart
just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart.
右手视角啊，就是他会有一个小小的不同在。
Though he'd never met her. We don't need a stepmom, were the words that I know.
然后劝他，虽然他从未见过他，但是我记得他是这么说的，不需要自己。啊，原来
在乎吗？
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined and as a sign held up his middle finger. The wind picked up and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent. The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made. The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder." I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea and foam. But I didn't, until we found you.
你不觉得全家死了很有戏吗？
可是他们摆这些东西都很有戏，对，很有事。
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
我取名叫这个，那当死就会是他了。这是要看吗？不是欸，不是这个，这是小孔而已。
就是这个。7点半升起，8点吃早餐，11点快餐休息 ，duties 他们的工作 ，DAWN 让要睡觉，然后 还有sweep 跟垃圾跟擦，干死了要负责抹，然后mop是抹吗？
就是反正就类似打扫、清洁之类的，
反正他们工作。
值日生，
真的，所以他们是3个小孩。
My mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died.
妈妈在他们兄弟死后搬到阁楼。
At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
阁楼一直是那个很高很高的地方。
看起来是。
你说上面这里吗？
Religion was another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died.
2个点，一个是。
She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
就这个吗？
没有，上去没有在。
1986，哎，我出生那一年呢。
没有商学，他们家住。
这是什么
？Fly to India， 飞去印度。
我就结婚，再婚，他妈妈要再婚的意思吗？
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English.
去印度找到一份教英语的工作。
Louis was born a year later.
这 我开头那个小孩。
还可以这种。
你知道刚刚的 Gus 他其实算是疯，就是那两个人是他的舅舅，是主角的舅舅。他现在讲话视角让我觉得有点。
I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back.
DAW 跟 Louis， 还有 Milton， 那底下这个应该是 Wilton，FZSF。
And to see kids in the house again.
每一个人都存在，感这种存在。他是其他的植物
反正就是植物嘛，植物。就觉得他们这间房子真的很漂亮，这也是一个名的对。
就刚刚那个下面3个小孩子。
3个小孩子。
The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that.
房子再大一点，我觉得他家已经够大了。
And for a while, things were good, almost normal.
那是学校吗？他们3个人的那个
小教室，
他们3个人名牌。
But it didn't last.
这样让我微一点，我看一下3个名牌。对，因为2个死掉了，1个失踪了。他从来都没有提到那个Wilton
对，我在剧情里面也
完全没有看到 Wilton。
你在讲这个人名的时候，我上次再玩我就没什么印象，
完全没有 Wilton 这个人。
The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle.
这个要先看对不对？
After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of
这个是
paintings.
失踪，然后真的不知道有没有死的唯一的那个。然后这个失踪的在另外一款游戏里面，这个失踪的在另外一款游戏里面。
Milton 之后还有一个 Louis 的房间。
啊，我没有在看。
速度高。
对啊，
很可怕好吗？ 你看天花板，你看上去，
还有更高的，
还有，上面还有一间房间。
从小就大胆养成。
这个要没有据考证。
这间不能进去吗？
可以啊，可以。
错场。
神奇，就是这个。
这是一个房间。失踪的那个小女孩。
男的吧？
男孩。
I think Edie was happy to finally have another painter in the family.
厉害。上楼看看。
上面不是有厨房？有。
对啊。 对，因为这个不知道到底有没有死。
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
啊！
那种画一页一页的那种。
可是这个我怎么播到？他这个很厉害。
哇，真好！
这个页数好长，
整个页数好长。这是他们这个公司另外一款游戏。这个人。
I was 4 when Milton disappeared.
2003是他失踪那一年，没有死。
他没有说他死。
对，因为这个我也没看到死，所以说他没有写到几年。 她是孕妇。
这边的资料说，到处都有描成的画，
所有的画作，这间房子所有画作应该都是她画的。
Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors.
也找不到啊，失踪了。
Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
哦，下面就是墓园那边嘛。好啦，要去最强的房间了。
更高呢？
为什么走不上去？去保扣呢？反正我有剧情没过完吗？没理由啊。
Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Louis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room until Mom got him a job at the cannery. Everyone always told me to stay out of Louis's room, except Louis.
偷看成就。断掉了。
可以哦。船，看起来比较像船。车还是船下去吧。因为这个强调啦。
Louis's room smelled very, very familiar.
非常熟悉的味道。
That part of it.
大麻。
画面明显的大麻。
因为这张图我一直记得，而且它上面写的就是支持大麻合法化。那个大麻合法化。
He was so proud of being Indian. I think for him, it was a way to be something other than just a Finch.
他是跟继父生的。
嗯，这个也是啊，女主角也是。
是挺印度的。
对。
Louis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
还是毕业
哇，这电脑位置真棒。
真的。可是如果是东方的话，你早上其实很
应该不会这样设定，应该是不会设定太那个。
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Louis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Louis first noticed the monotony of his daily life.
这是他工作啊。我觉得这个人家操控这个，我也觉得我有困难。
But he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to wander. I asked him to describe it.
然后鱼还是要继续用，不然会越来越多会挡住你的视角。
Imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats. And toads. And things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head. But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself. But he found something more.
变3D 哦。
I worried about him then.
它从黑白，然后变成彩色，然后变成
Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on. I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend. On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians. And songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination. So he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor. And he won. They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game. He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville. St. Louis. He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis. Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Lewis kept sailing on. In Louisburg, he heard rumors of a...
哪一边？往后还是要往？
我玩过了，给你们选。剧情结局都一样，但是剧情你们可以挑。看你要走哪边啊？我那边是走。
Handsome Queen.
你好可爱了，因为我那天不是走那边，而且我很专注的在弄。
The Queen was on her own quest for... sinister serpents.
看来这个会很火的。
对啊，一样都是有到船撞到哎。没有，应该是我船撞到吧？
没有，是我撞倒的。
Followed the sound of her.
撞不到了，所以。上次选哪一个？忘了，这个我真忘了，都可以。你想听哪种音乐？左边。
electric sitar. His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound. He knew the world was all in his imagination.
他明白这个世界是他自己想象出来的。鱼越来越多了。没有，他一次给我3条，没办法哦。鱼越来越多。
But he was so proud of having created it.
我想抓上面吧。
现在已经现实就是下面那一块。
In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king.
这真的是完全砍掉了。
For someone who'd never known success in the real way, I think it was overwhelming.
我还在抓鱼，他手还是在工作。
And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace.
完了，那这到这边就真的完了，对不对？完全砍掉了。
现在就进入自己的世界。
有鱼，我要鱼。
这边就真的砍掉了，他要完全沉溺在他自己的世界里。
My imagination is as real as my body, he told me.
我想看看我的身体一样真实。
It was hard to argue with him.
这么大门哪有一个小门可以过？
他回归现实。
回归现实。哎，没有哎，我选了国王之后是另外一个，最后是另外一个奇怪的剧
Began to
情。
forget the world we know.
好强哦！
你的鬼，反正他一样死吧。
对啊。
变成鱼。
I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker.
现在就是要把自己变成变成。
He began to despise the man with a royal contempt. I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions. Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on advising him.
什么时候才蛇毛了啦？这里，这是茉莉。是智者。我要上去被加冕了。没有，是要当国王的。
His queen waited, holding his crown.
我怎么不会断头？对不对？
There was only one thing left to do.
就是当上国王了。
Bend down his head. I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
这个真是死在自己的幻觉里面的。
对他来讲，他的幻觉是真实的，反正 是现实这边不真实。
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
应该没了。
继续往上爬。
还要往上？
还要往上。右边有出口。右边。
开门喽！ 电梯上。
你上次没有上楼。
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed. But I understand why we left. My mom
这个外面看起来很小，好大，魔术大空间呢。对，要吃饭，好累啊，要先走好远。
他妈都还要爬这种小洞。对，因为门都被锁起来了。
Maybe you should have come sooner.
这应该都是那个孩子画的吧？
But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night.
最后一个晚上了。哦，故事到最后一段，这游戏准备要结束了。因为最后一段是就是他自己的故事了。
That whole last day. Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
To our final night together, and all our final nights apart.
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
The power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
他们家就是满满的密道而已，除了密道，我也不知道该说什么。这完全不怕门锁死。
You're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your story. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning. Okay?
让我最气的就是这本书我没看完。
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way. I got turned around. For a while, I wandered. I started seeing things. Things I'd forgotten had ever existed.
什么？我找不到字。
结果外面的东西都曾经存在过。
没有找到笔。
But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them.
就是我们用望远镜看在一间房子，沉船。
因为他说他出生的时候退潮。
Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it. Let go.
I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car.
所以他留了一个开放式剧情。
I never saw Great Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it. A few years went by. My mom didn't like to talk about it, but she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you and tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way. This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
这里写什么？
啊？
对，
创作者，这些是那个
展现名单。
对啊，导演、创作导演，然后技术指导，创作指导，主要的技术艺术家，然后成就了 ，lead artist， 主要的艺术家，然后主要的设计者，这是他们小时候的照片，
这就谢幕了，结束了。
对，你之前跳过，所以你没拿到那个成就，因为刚刚有一个人的名字过去的东西要拿到成就。也是 Jackie 游戏的那个企划工程师，我是做人的科学。Milton，看这边会不会出现Wilton的名字？因为网络上只有1-2个网站有提到Wilton。
就说这游戏不恐怖，你在看电影。哎，我漏掉一个人的死了，爷爷的死我忘记去看了。还有一个爷爷是死在做那个在建筑的时候死掉的，溜滑梯那边。龙兴溜滑梯就是
可是你成就已经拿完了吗？
对啊，我拿完了，因为这是我玩第2了。
小青猫。
青蛙跟风筝那2个小男孩，然后那个是同行的，
这是同行的，
然后还有那个，我的就同行宝宝啊，
同时住在那个弟弟的那个小孩子，生活在地下室30年的那个，
然后还有火箭，
想飞，做到就先死了，
然后
这是最
猫咪、鸟，然后
猫头鹰，
那个罐头，
对啊，就是死在地下室的那个。被火车撞死了呀，不是死在地下室。
溜冰是那个，
就是荡秋千的那一个。可是这女的有死吗？
是，因为刚刚最后是她的坟墓。
哦，开枪那个就是女主角。
没有，书关掉之后是她的坟墓。对啊，开枪是她女主角，因为她爸爸是被路撞下去的。很难得有感谢名单这么诚意，都还放照片。
而且这边所有的这是故事书吗？
这没有，这都人名的。
都人名吗？
对，这都人名。对，这全部人名。Special， 现在这边是特别感谢这些人的。这都人名的。
是赞助。
Enjoy，thank you 。然后他们整个团队
85年
，2012到2017，
那是2016的奖的。
还有移动，好可怕、哦！是灵动。
没了。
奇怪，Wilton 怎么会不见了？
这里真的没写到。这边吗？是啊，没啦。
就最初吧，你关接关时候。
如果我按开始游戏，不会跟我说到什么。
A lot of this is
开始就。
是小男孩。
those are you from? I'm
叙
just
事
gonna
是
start at the
因为他
beginning
是看到妈妈的
with
书。
the house.
OK。对啊，其实我觉得